Alright, so today I'm going to do a little bit of diagnostics on Burrito. I have developed a little bit of a squeak in the front end, and it doesn't seem like it's brakes. It doesn't respond to application of brakes or release, or it doesn't seem to change much if I'm turning into a curve either direction. But I do get a change whenever I lock it into four-wheel drive. The squeak just basically goes all the way away. So I'm guessing I'm probably going to have to replace the unit bearing assemblies on both sides. It's probably never been done, and at 206, somewhere almost 7,000 miles, it's probably time. The first thing you want to do, if you're checking on your unit bearings on your four-wheel drive, now this will be different on a two-wheel drive, so this only applies to the four-wheel drive Rangers and Mazda B series. Again, this one is a 4.0 automatic, the vacuum hub four-wheel drive. What I like to do is, with the weight of the vehicle on the wheels, before jacking anything up, grab a hold of the wheel and rock it back and forth. Just put as much force as you can into it, and shake the truck real good and see if you can see anything wiggling in between the wheel and the frame back there, more than just the rubber of the wheel flexing. And you want to grab left and right, try and turn it. It's a lot easier if you have two hands, but I'm just trying to demonstrate there a little bit. You want to kind of rock it like you're trying to turn the wheel and see if you've got any play there. And then you want to try and roll it back and forth a little bit if you can. See if you get any wiggle or hear anything squeaking or squawking, or just listen real close. Try and get your chickens to shut up for a second if you can. And do that on both sides. Alright, now if nothing was evident in that test, you want to grab your jack and take it over the truck. Once you got your jack over by your truck, you want to set your jack under your A-arm, because we are checking it first with fully sprung weight. As if the truck is rolling down the road with the weight of the truck on the hub. Well, it's not going to be, but the spring's going to be under load anyway. And we'll just jack it up enough to get the wheel off the ground so we can spin it, grab it, and rock it back and forth and see where we got play or hear any squeaks while we're rolling it around. Alright, so rocking it back and forth and pushing on it didn't give me any major signs anything's wrong, but I didn't want to do it. I can hear a real slight warp on my rotor. But there for a second I did hear a roller in one of the internal bearings catch. So this side for sure needs to be replaced. I got my other side up, and I've got a little wiggle in my steering on this side, but the hub actually seems to be nice and tight. But I do get more brake rotor noise that just about matches the rate of my squeak. So I think my hub might be okay, and I just need to maybe scuff up my rotors or go ahead and replace the brake pads. But I happen to have a brand new set sitting on my shelf. How about that? cleaning out the tools. I'll probably park in a less muddy spot to do this. Let's do that. Let's restate real quick. Yeah, once again, I know I'm a horrible videographer, but no real wear or grooving or anything weird on the rotor. Pistons look fine on the caliper, they're not leaking. On my inner pad, look at that. Crack, crack. Outer pad, it's worn a lot more than the inner pad. Crack, crack. So we're gonna put some fresh hardware in there that came with the new pads and put some new fresh pads in and do the other side and see if that changes anything. Alright, got this side back together and set her back on the ground and pump the brakes back up, make sure everything was copacetic, took her for a little test drive, and that cured my squeak. I can't believe it cured my squeak because like I said, I couldn't get any change in the noise by applying the brakes or turning hard left or right while applying the brakes or anything. It was just steady and followed the speed of the wheel rolling down the road. So kind of amazes me that that fixed it, but it did. And I went ahead and cleaned up the caliper and cage real good with my wire brush, and the inside of the rim had some dirt built up on it, kind of about yay thick, up to about 5/8 in a couple of spots, wondering maybe if some of that stuff was just rubbing and causing the squeak, but something between the new pads and hardware and cleaning everything up, that cured the squeak. But anyway, since I've got the other pads, I'm going to go ahead and pull this side loose and change them, and I'll be done. Alright, since I didn't do it on the other side, let's do a sort of step-by-step how to change your brake pads on this era Ford Ranger or Mazda B Series. First thing you want to do is pull your lug nut cover off, and with the wheel still on the ground before you take all the weight off of it, break your lug nuts loose with your 4-way or your impact or whatever you use. Alright, once you got all of your lug nuts broke loose, get your jack positioned up under a good spot where it ain't going to slip off. Jack the wheel up off the ground so you can spin it, and then take all your lug nuts off and remove your wheel. Alright, so you got your wheel off. And that one's pretty nasty too, so I might have to hit it with my rotary cut brush. But next thing you're going to do is on your caliper, this bolt right there on your slide pin and this bolt on the bottom slide pin, remove those. Alright, so what I like to do before prying the caliper loose is, while it's still kind of in the cage, after I've got the bolts out, is I'll take my wire brush, knock any of the heavy nasty crud loose off the outside of the caliper and the cage while it's here. And there's less fun, they got to fight with, it's falling off and whatnot when I'm pressing the cups in, the pistons. So now we grab our screwdriver and just stick it right there and pry up. That's it, that easy. Up, out of the way. And we're going to use that pad, stick it right there to squeeze those pistons in. That pad has got a crack, and it's starting to crack here too. And the inner actually doesn't look bad. I don't see, well, I see just the beginnings of a crack starting to form right there. The rotor is in good shape. Good deal. Alright, now next we need to pull the old hardware. That's these little clips. And just pop them, pry them loose, top and bottom, because your brake pads should come with new clips. You can replace that hardware anytime you have new hardware available. And for sure, pull your slide pins, inspect them for any kind of weird wear, and then you want to use some good lube specifically for brakes. I like this Ceramic Extreme Permatex stuff, and liberally apply. You know, just get you a big old dab, put it inside the hole where the pin came out of, and all up inside the boot, and clean up that crap off the shaft, reinstall them. So this is what I use when I'm dumb and I forget my freaking brake press at the shop to get my pistons squished back in. Just a good size C-clamp, big end on the back side and the little end on a brake pad, and just squish them in. And you got to kind of leapfrog, go in as far as you can on this side, and then pull it apart and put it on this side and go in as far as you can. Usually that's enough on these little calipers. And then again, sometimes you get lucky and it squishes and compresses them all in one shot. Little wins. Alright, so we got our new slide hardware in on the cage. We got our new pads installed. We have our slide pins lubricated. Our caliper is reset and we've got our pistons collapsed. We have our spring replaced on the caliper, and we can go ahead and reinstall it. You just take it and you stick that ear on the face of that slide pin and just kind of rock it forward. That one's, there we go. And you'll have to push your top one in so it'll slide in place, and that's it. Now put your bolts in. Alright, got our bolts back in, got them tightened down. They don't got to be crazy tight, just a couple of smacks on the back of the handle with your wrench so they're good and snug. I don't know, 30 foot-pounds maybe, if that. And we're ready to put the wheel back on. So if your jack leaks down like mine does, jack this sucker back up and put your wheel on.